2 in 1 night?
Yeah.
What's up? You want to run it 2 in 1 night?
Absolutely.
You want to run it 2 in 1 night?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Let's make it happen.
Floyd Mayweather has threatened to stop Jake Paul if Mike Tyson doesn't perform well in their fight. All eyes will be on November 15th, and although this fight is professionally sanctioned, the rules will be more lax than in the typical fight if everything goes according to plan. I hate to be the one to break the terrible news, but Mike Tyson and Jake won't ever go into the ring, according to two-time welterweight world champion Shawn Porter. Asserting that the Tyson matchup was never realistic to begin with, Paul Porter speculates that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who triumphed on the same card as Paul and Perry and obtained the WBA's endorsement to fight Paul for a championship, would replace Tyson as Paul's opponent. Porter stated that he saw Chavez Jr. doing it and speculated that he could return to Freddie Roach so they could perform magic once more. Even from a business perspective, I feel that Mike and Jake didn't make sense, even to the lowest common denominator. Not that I decide, but I don't think Mike should fight. The UFC champion Sean Ali believes that Jake Paul will defeat Mike Tyson because the YouTuber defeated Mike Perry on Saturday night in Florida. Paul's 3 knockdowns on former UFC fighter and bare-knuckle world champion Perry forced the referee to end the bout. Paul's attention will now be focused on getting ready for his rescheduled fight against heavyweight legend Tyson. In their next contest, which is planned for 8 2-minute rounds, Paul, who will be 30 years younger than Tyson, who is 58, is believed to be the clear favorite. Ali believes that, should the event go forward, Paul will defeat Tyson inside the allotted time. Talking about Jake's win versus Mike Perry, a few of the knockdowns were extremely vicious and impressive. O'Malley said. He also mentioned that Jake appeared to be getting better with every fight, and he was excited about the impending Jake versus Mike Tyson match. O'Malley thought the fight might end similarly, pointing out that Tyson is 30 years older than Jake.
Pretty brutal. God damn it, that was sweet. Jake looks like he's improving every single fight. I'm excited to continue to watch him fight. Mike Tyson fight, I'm pretty excited for. I feel like it might look similar to that. I mean, Mike Tyson's almost 60, Jake's 30 years younger, so I feel like it might look similar to that, but I'll do Jake Paul versus Mike Perry MMA. Jake Paul, Mike Perry, bare knuckle. Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz. Like, Jake is doing stuff.
After defeating Perry, PA made a surprise challenge to UFC light heavyweight world champion Alex Pereira. The Brazilian fighter, who also held the middleweight title, is expected to be retained by UFC CEO Dana White as he recently secured an 8-year contract extension with the organization. Nevertheless, PA gave Paul a glimmer of hope in his quest to take on the formidable champion. PA mentioned that Jake is set to face Mike Tyson in November, but he also made a jab at Alex Pereira, speculating that the bout would only take place if Dana White permits it, expressing frustration at seeing Jake defeat UFC fighters. Ali pictured Jake and Alex Pereira as a match. Paul compared Pereira to Mike Perry, whose exposed chin and unbalanced posture made him an effortless target, while acknowledging Pereira's considerable strength and pointing out that he frequently shoots punches from his hips, leaving him vulnerable.
Fighting Mike Tyson in what, November, December? He called out Alex Pereira. That fight won't happen unless Dana says, I'm sick of seeing Jake beat all these UFC guys. I'm giving it. Imagine Alex Pereira versus Jake Paul. I mean, dude, Alex has crazy power in both hands, but the dude he literally throws from his hips. Like, he's there to be hit. That was a big thing about Mike Perry. He was there to be hit. His chin was floating. He was throwing punches. He was off balance. His chin was just kind of there to be hit. Alex Pereira's dude, I met that dude, fucking scary big. His hand was like 4 of my hands.
O'Malley also commended Jake for his strategic planning, emphasizing that as Jake is excellent at doing, the most important thing to do after a bout is to create possibilities for the future. Jake is already booked to fight Tyson, and he is actively seeking out his next opponent. Although Ali praised Jake's commitment to boxing, hard work, and high caliber of performance, he pointed out that fans want to see Jake take on the best fighters in the world.
Sure. Way of fighting, I think chokes will be easier, grappling is easier with no gloves.
Oh, bare knuckle MMA.
Yeah.
What about the bare knuckle boxing?
I'd have to get paid.
Yeah.
I'd have to get paid.
It's
just like you're gonna get cut up 100%, no
Right.
matter how you fight defensively. You're gonna get cut probably.
Do you like watching it?
Yeah, but I've been to a few in person, and watching it and being there close to the ring is two different things, man. It's brutal close.
Really?
Yeah.
More so than TV.
Yeah, because you can hear the knuckles bouncing like off the skull. You can hear it.
Jeez.
You know, yeah, it's
According to Ali, it is difficult to determine Jake's true potential until he takes on a fighter ranked in the top 30. Jake is currently leading the pack in terms of calling out who will fight next. He already has a fight scheduled, so he's doing a fantastic job at that. Jake desires to win. I'm not even sure what weight class you're in cruiserweight, but it's difficult to envision you competing against the real world's greatest men, or at least close to them. Jake's boxing prowess is undeniable.
Right now, he's calling out who's next. He already has a fight booked. He's doing a really good job of doing that. Jake, definitely a very good boxer, but until you see him with, he hasn't fought a top, let's say, 20 guy in the world. Like a top 20 boxer in his weight class. Jake wants to be the champ, cruiserweight. I don't even know what weight class that is. I want to see you against the actual best guys in the world, or at least up there. So it's hard. Jake's boxing skill, he definitely has boxing skills. He's definitely dedicated, definitely very high level. But how good is he? You can't really determine that until you see him against the guy on the top.
He is a highly motivated and skilled boxer, but it's difficult to gauge just how excellent he is unless you see him compete against someone in the top, even the top 30. In the meantime, another MMA superstar is prepared and waiting for the chance to finally silence the problem child after Jake if 58-year-old Mike Tyson is unable to make it to the ring in November. Following Paul's thrilling 6th-round victory over Mike Perry and his audacious challenges to UFC champion Alex Pereira and Mike Tyson, Darren Till immediately offered himself as a possible fallback opponent in the event that Tyson is unable to compete in November. Paul stated, "I am the same size and weight. Are we fighting or not? I got ducked the last pullout with Tyson, and they got that." He said he wouldn't comment further until he was interviewed by Submission Radio a few hours later. In that interview, he discussed the Paul versus Perry boxing match and the
Tyson fight. You know, I didn't want that to happen. The guy's 60 years old. Like, I didn't want that to happen. And I hope it doesn't.
You're hoping it gets canceled.
Yeah, I don't want to see Tyson go out there and get hurt, man.
Right.
60 years old. He's fighting a young guy who's athletic and has the money to put the best people around him and build a camp, and, like, you know, he's dangerous.
Right. So you like Jake?
I don't have anything against him.
Yeah. But like watching him fight.
Yeah, dude.
You went to one of his fights, right?
possibility of fighting the problem child himself. He said, "I didn't even watch the fight, but from the clips I've seen, it was atrocious. It was just low-level striking. Perry should step in instead of me. I'm genuinely shocked because I honestly don't even know what Mike was doing in there." Jake Paul was gassed after the first round. Mike and Jake were both awful until they made their boxing debuts on the main card of Social Knockout 3 in the United Arab Emirates. However, his victory was clouded by controversy when his opponent decided not to press on. When asked about any correspondence from Paul's team regarding the November event on Netflix, Mike admitted that, despite being a perfect backup opponent, his calls had gone unanswered. He said nothing at all because Jake Paul will not fight me because I'm 6'1" and 225 pounds, and I could box like I'd heard nothing at all from Jake Paul. So my offer is that you are extremely fortunate that he won't fight me because I would punch holes in him. I admire the businessman. I admire many things about him, including the fact that he has devoted his entire life to boxing. But I would gravely hurt Jake Paul in a boxing ring. Therefore, why does the former UFC fighter believe he can challenge the troublemaker there? To put it plainly, I'd be too technically superior. Here, tactical for him until he demonstrated how his vast MMA expertise combined with illustrations from fighters like Israel and others Robert Whittaker and Anderson Silva demonstrate how striking prowess can differentiate performance in the cage from the ring. Whittaker views technical aspects and setups more than shots, and if it led him into something, he wouldn't notice. After taking approximately 3 rounds to figure him out, I would disassemble him completely. I already have everything figured out. But regrettably for us, Jake Paul will not engage in combat. Darren is still visibly annoyed by the continued disdain for his desire to fight. Paul still has a ton of well-known players to choose from for an exciting encounter, including a few of his former opponents. He noted, "I would really like to fight George Masvidal and Nate Diaz. I would adore to face Tommy Fury. I would like to compete against KSI and Mike Perry. I'd love to fight all of these guys, but my name doesn't appear. Maybe I'll just fight myself." Nevertheless, Demetrius Johnson has strongly advised against Mike Tyson facing off against a young fighter like Jake Paul. Tyson is a heavyweight icon, known for being the youngest boxer to win a heavyweight championship and the first to hold the WBC, WBA, and IBF titles in the same division. The former UFC World Flyweight Champion is not excited about the fight, worried that Tyson's health could jeopardize him, especially considering that Tyson is 58 years old and Pau is only 31 years old. Perry's 6th-round knockout is the most recent. Paul has also begun to demonstrate his improvement in the ring with a video posted to his YouTube account. Johnson predicted the outcome of the fight between the two styles, saying, "I think Jake Paul will knock Mike Tyson out because he has a chin that will allow him to withstand any punch that Mike Tyson throws at him." He went on to predict that Tyson will tire out and give way to Paul as the fight goes on, possibly even resulting in a knockout. Johnson had previously looked at the results of the fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul and concluded that Iron Mike's strategy could work in Jake Paul's favor. This was especially true when Tyson, the former champion, charged forward impetuously. Johnson continued, saying that Tyson attempts to enter his opponent's defense in the opening created by his strong strikes, which usually cause them to miss. He then capitalizes on their aggression, but he is no longer as fast as he once was, and Jake Paul counters this move by throwing uppercuts, which could catch Tyson off guard as he ducks his head to cross him. If you like this video, be sure to watch some of our others that are displayed on the screen.